Mark chapter 3, it's recorded this conflict between Jesus and the Pharisees, and it goes like this. He says, another time, Jesus went into the synagogue, and some of them were looking for a reason to accuse Jesus. So they watched him closely to see if he would heal on the Sabbath. You see, they had a rule. If you can heal, you can't heal on the Sabbath day. Okay? Because if you can't heal, that means it's kind of like your job. And if you did it on the Sabbath, it would be kind of like working. And therefore, that would be wrong. So even although the Bible doesn't say, you cannot heal on Sabbath day, that's one of our rules. You just cannot do it. Okay? And so that was a firm practice. You just did not heal on the Sabbath day. And so now they're gathered together, and they wanted to see if Jesus would do it. It says in verse 3, Jesus said to a man with a shriveled hand, stand up in front of everyone. Then Jesus asked, which is lawful on the Sabbath, to do good or to do evil, to save life or to kill? I think that was a rhetorical question. Should I do bad or good? Should I give life or take it away? Let's take a vote. What do you think? But they remained silent. He looked around at them in anger and deeply distressed at their stubborn hearts, said to the man, stretch out your hand. And he stretched it out, and his hand was completely restored. And the Pharisees rejoiced at the great miracle. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It says, and the Pharisees went out and began to plot with the Herodians how they might kill Jesus. Hey, look, we just have a long-standing tradition. We do not do healing stuff on the Sabbath day. Jesus said, I do not care about your long-standing traditions. There's a person there who needs to be healed, and I will do whatever I need to do to make sure that person gets the healing they need. Institutionalized religion always is about keeping order and keeping everybody happy in the status quo and abiding by all of our guidelines. And the Jesus movement says, no, we need to have a vision for what can happen. Everything is about the mission. We'll change whatever we need to change. We'll do differently whatever we need to do differently, because the mission is that important. Because it's about people who need to be served. It's not about us who are already saved. It's what I find amazing. In Acts chapter 2, the church is born. And the Spirit of God has come to indwell those who have placed their faith in Jesus. Miraculous signs are happening. And there's confusion amongst some unbelieving people as to what's going on. And Peter stands up and he says, I'm going to explain something to you. And this is what he says in Acts chapter 2 and verse 17. Peter says, in the last days, God says, I will pour out my Spirit on all people, and your sons and your daughters will prophesy. Your young men will see visions, and your old men will dream dreams. He's saying in this new thing I am doing called the church, in this new thing called the Jesus movement, it will be a movement of dreamers and visionaries. And they will innovatively create. They will see things never seen before. They will do things never done before. They will dream dreams never dreamed before, because they will permeate this planet and they will change it. But in the institutionalized Christianity, we take the dreamers and the visionaries and we've got to keep them under our thumbs by saying we don't do things that way. We don't rock the boat like that. We have to keep order. I want to share one other difference, and there are so many more, between institutionalized Christianity and the movement of Jesus. Institutional Christianity is about passing judgment, and the movement of Jesus is about practicing acceptance. See, endemic within institutionalized Christianity is this propensity to judge other people. Are they worthy or unworthy of friendship? Are they worthy or unworthy of acceptance into our group? Are they worthy or unworthy of really being connected to God? Are they worthy or unworthy of really serving God? And you know what? If they look like us, and they practice the kind of morality we do, thumbs up. And if they don't, gotta be ready. And the Jesus movement looks at every person as worthy of friendship, as worthy of inclusion. The Jesus movement looks at every single person and recognizes they can get connected to God and they can be used by God to change the world. Everybody. Here's what happened in Matthew chapter 9. It's the story of Matthew coming to faith. It says, as Jesus went from there, he saw a man named Matthew sitting at the tax collector's booth. Follow me, he told him. And Matthew got up and followed him. And while Jesus was having dinner at Matthew's house, many tax collectors and sinners, read criminals, read prostitutes, read adulterers and adulteresses, read the scum of the earth, read the riffraff. And many sinners came and ate with him and his disciples. And when the Pharisees saw this, they asked his disciples, why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners? And on hearing this, Jesus said, it is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. But go and learn what this means. I desire mercy, not sacrifice, for I have come not to call the righteous, but sinners. See, the Pharisees were all about, you're with all these people unworthy of inclusion. All these people do not measure up. All these people are not like us. All these people don't match up to the moral code that we live by. And Jesus is going, I happen to believe all those people are worthy of inclusion. All of those people are worthy of friendship. I happen to believe any of them can become connected with God. In fact, that's why I'm here. And I believe that any and every one of them has a God-given potential to change the world. So I accept them. There was a time in my life I embraced institutional Christianity. And because of the gracious working of God and his patience, I've come to see that for what it is. And to see that the Jesus movement is a totally different thing. Hey, think about this. If there was a group of people who accepted everyone because they saw the potential in everyone and the value of everyone, and those people were captured by a beautiful vision to change the world for good, and if those people were willing to support and unleash the power of everybody to go do what God made them to do, and while they were doing that, they impacted and changed the world, what about that is uninviting? What about that is unappealing? What about that is impotent? And I would say nothing. That's attractive. That's the Jesus movement. And that's what we got to make sure we're embracing. When I went on vacation a couple of weeks ago, I went down intending to do a totally different series when I got back. But while I was there on vacation, I would get up before the rest of my family and I would make my way to a Starbucks, one of the spiritual shrines that dot our country. And I would get my triple venti, non-fat, sugar-free caramel macchiato, steamed extra hot. And I would sit down at a table and I would read. And God began to stir something in me. And I believe said, Dave, we need to do this. Because you see, for the last year or so in Prairie Chapel, some of you have sensed that there's a struggle going on just under the surface. And it's kind of hard to put your finger on, but you feel it. And I do not mean to oversimplify, and I do not mean to say that this has been the case in every case. I mean that by no means. But let me tell you what the essence of the struggle is. The essence of the struggle is, will we become an institutional religion, or will we be a movement of Jesus?